In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make extreme crackle by simply combining two Deco-Art products. This first piece is using Media crackle paint, and for this second piece we've used the crackle paste. So you get a lot more heavy texture with the crackle paste, but for this video we'll be using the crackle paint. I'm going to use a small canvas for this demonstration, and I'm going to give it a coat with the Media black gesso, but you could give it a coat of paint. As long as the surface is sealed, this should work. For the second demonstration, I'm going to use some Tando chipboard and the Media misters. I want to get lots of vibrant colour on here, and the misters are permanent, so it's going to work with the crackle. You could not do this with a dye-based mister. Now that the black gesso is dried, I'm going to give it a coat of Americana weathered wood. I'm going to apply it with a hog's hair brush and try to get a good even coverage all over the surface. I'm going to repeat exactly the same process on the Tando chipboard. Now remember, if this was a dye mister used, as soon as I started applying the weathered wood it would start to lift the dye, so you really do need to use the permanent misters. So once applied, I'm going to let the weathered wood dry. You can use the heat tool to dry it, but keep the heat tool moving because you can blister it very easily. As explained earlier in the video, on this first piece I used the crackle paste, so if you want lots of texture, use the crackle paste. If you want a more smoother surface, then use the paint. So I'm going to apply one coat of the crackle paint on top of the weathered wood now. I'm going to apply it with a soft brush, and a good tip is if you want to make your crackle paint slightly thinner, you can add a little bit of water to it. It will still work. But this is completely neat. And I'm only applying a very thin coat. You should see cracks start to appear quite quickly. I highly recommend leaving this to dry naturally without the use of a heat tool. On the second piece, I'm going to apply the crackle paint a lot thicker. And to do this I use a soft brush with very light brush strokes. And when it cracks you'll see the difference, that the thicker you apply this crackle paint, the larger the crack's going to be. Now you may have noticed as the thick crackle paint dried it tended to lift off, and I kind of like that effect. But if you want a more flatter surface, let it dry and you can just push it down with your fingers. Now you will need to seal the surface, and I'm going to use the ultra matte varnish in the Media range. This gives a dead flat finish with no gloss whatsoever. I'm careful when applying the varnish that I don't put too much on and really work it into those cracks. You'll notice the cracks are very shiny where you can see the weathered wood underneath, so this completely eliminates that. I'd also recommend applying 2 coats. So that's how I achieved the very large cracks, and I've called it Mega Crackle. I hope you have fun experimenting with this, and thanks very much for watching. For more information about the media range, please visit Deco-Art.com.